Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your totally 100% favorite YouTuber, Tubasa here. Currently, I'm a little sick right now. I'm feeling like weak in my body, and my stomach has had this urge to like want to throw up. I don't know what that's about, but I took some Pepto Bismol, and hopefully everything will be fine. Today, I'm going to be talking about my lifting experience so far, what I've learned, and what I'm doing, I suppose. Because I had a comment in one of my other videos asking about it. Now, real quick, before I get into anything, I highly recommend looking up. Let me make sure I get this right. Let's see here. Let me make sure I have the right channel. Where are you? Yes. Check out Renaissance Periodization. That is, for those of you who don't know, a guy called Dr. Mike does YouTube videos talking about how to properly lift, technique that you want to use, as well as like other things like proper eating and critiquing, uh, you know, what, like, for instance, what does, oh, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth. Like, what does his workout look like? How could we make it better, more optimized? And I highly just recommend checking his channel out for lifting tips personally. But I'm going to give kind of my experience with lifting. Now, before this summer, I had not really lifted that much. The last time I lifted was in middle school. And so for me, I haven't had a lot of lifting experience in how to properly do things. So before the summer that I started, I made sure to. I did watch a lot of Renaissance periodization, and I gained a little bit of knowledge on like what I need to do, what to focus on when I'm lifting, things like that. And I did this with a buddy of mine, and so we've broken our week down into 4 days and 3 days of rest, and our days cover different things. So our first day is leg day on Monday, and on that we do just regular. We do like squats. You know, we get the bar on our shoulders and we do some squats. The main thing that I like to do when focusing on those squats is really making sure I get deep on my squats and really stretch my glutes and quads out. By the way, when it comes to this terminology stuff, I'm not a huge lifting gym bro or person who knows a lot about the muscular anatomy. I'm not a huge anatomy guy. So forgive me if I say something wrong. I am very flawed when it comes to this stuff. But we really like to get low on those squats and really dig deep. And not only that, but if you go down on that squat and you hold it, it'll actually be a lot better too. Now, some of the things I focus on besides just going deep is also making sure that my posture is really good. I like to make sure that, I stick my butt out and everything. I make sure I look up when I'm doing it because those things do help. And got a hair here. And it's something I think throughout multiple of lifts, it actually is a good thing to make sure you have your head up. Next thing we do is RDLs. RDLs, we kind of just, again, make sure that when we're in the down position for an RDL, we make sure that we get a good stretch down at the bottom and then pull back up and kind of explode back up almost. Next is the hack squat. This is done on a machine. Now, I personally don't like doing hack squat at all, but it's probably because for me it's one of the most tough leg day things. But hack squat, if you have a gym that has a hack squat, you can use that, and there should be images or instructions on how to use that properly. After that, we hit leg extensions and leg curls. I actually kind of like these a lot just because I get to sit in a chair and see how large my legs are. So, with those, again, making sure that when we are coming back to our starting position, that we take it really slow. So, for instance, with leg extensions, I'm sitting in my seat and my legs are going to be going straight up like this, pushing a bar up. I want to make sure that when I'm coming back down, that I'm taking a very controlled approach to bringing that bar down instead of just bringing it straight down. Because what that actually does is it helps tear your muscles a lot more and allows for you to get your muscle growth to be a little bit faster. And also it hurts like a bitch. But it's not about how much weight you lift. It's really about how properly are you doing it. Because the more proper your technique is, and the more you're able to, slow down and control your eccentric, the way better that your muscle growth is gonna be. So after leg day, we hit back day. We do bent row. Bent row, for those of you who don't know, you kind of hunch over and you pull the bar up kind of to your belly button. Again, controlling our eccentric, so when we're going back down, we like to make sure to go slow. We put in calf raises in here as well, just because we didn't do it on leg day, but you can put calf raises in leg day if you want. We then have lat pull down, and I say it's a pulley, but essentially lat pull down is where you have that bar that's above your head and you bring it down to your chest, and then again you control the eccentric as you go back up. You want to really make sure that you reached your stretched position in this, because you want to make sure that your back is really stretching out. Similarly, when I say pulley, what I mean by that is we have, with one hand, we're going to pull on a rope that, or not a rope, but a handle. There's a handle that you just pull with one arm. And we sit kneeling do this. So we kneel and we bring it down, and we bring it down to kind of our chest. I should probably sit up, maybe back up, I don't know. Bring it down like this. And then again, when you go back up, you want to make sure you go back to like your most stretched position. After that, we have low rows or pull-ups until failure. Personally, I like doing low rows right now instead of pull-ups, mainly because I feel like I can get a lot more in. Low rows is where you just kind of hold it and you bring it here. Again, making sure when you go back out that you stretch your body as far as you can. After that, we got arms. You can do curls, but I am a huge fan of preacher curls. I feel like I get a lot more of a stretch when I'm in the downward position on a preacher curl, just because of the seat that you sit in to use like the bars or dumbbells. And then we also have triceps, so you can either have a rope with it's an actual rope that comes on two sides, and you can either extend it down like this or bring it over the back of your head and do this. And what I find very difficult about doing it overhead is when you reach, there's a certain point that you reach behind your head where if you go too far back, it's almost impossible to bring it up. Even if you can do it like this, once you hit that like lockout position right here, it's super, super hard to get it up again. So you could really try and start just with the weight like in that lockout position, and see what weight you can do, and then just slowly bump it up over the course of a couple weeks. Let's see. For shoulders, what I usually do is I get, again, that pulley, if you will. I call it a pulley. I get it about shoulder height, and I bring it from a position like this, and I'm usually holding on to the frame of the machine, and I'm just bringing it out like this. And then, again, being very controlled about just controlling my shoulder. Next, we also do some forearm stuff. Now, to do forearms, there's this thing called a Eugene curl that my friend showed me. What it is you take a bar that's on a pulley system, you put it on the very bottom setting, and what you do is you grab the bar and you pull it up behind you like this, and then you just do this. Now, obviously, you want to make sure probably that your arms are kind of stretched out a little bit, and you just do this. I find that to be the most effective forearm workout for me, personally. And then the last day is chest. Chest, we do bench. So again, making sure you are controlled going down and then explode back up, making sure you get it to your the bar to your chest to really get a deep stretch. And then we do incline bench machine. That's mainly we're doing this now. Again, it is machine, so you might have to see if your local gym has that. And then it says triceps again. Probably we don't do triceps again if your arms are hurting. One important thing is if you feel that a part of your body is not 100% there, or like you feel like it's injured or weak, don't be afraid to not do that particular workout for the day. And the reason I bring this up is because right now I'm like currently kind of sick. So for me, I was trying to hit chest the other day, and I was just like, oh, okay, let's do bench, right? Well, I only did 2 reps of my bench, and after that, I was like, holy crap, I like cannot lift this bar. And so I just stopped. I said, hey, bro, I think I'm not feeling good. I might have to take it a little bit light today. And I did. I only did a couple things. The last thing I did, and the last thing on this list is pec fly, which is, again, it's a machine, but you're out like this, and you bring it together. Again, making sure that when you go back, you reach like a position that'll really stretch this muscle here, and then bring it back in. Weight-wise, go with what you're comfortable with. You don't have to go like balls to the walls, like holy crap, I can't lift this. But try and find what your sweet spot is, or what your weight is. I mean, make sure you write it down too. Like I write this stuff down on my phone, and just keep track of what did I do the week before, because that way when I'm looking at my stuff, I keep track and I'm like, oh, I only did 8 of this, let's try and get to 10. Or, oh, I did a successful set of 3 with this weight, let's bring it up like 5 pounds for 1 set. And just making small variations like that. I'm not saying like, oh, I did 100 pounds, today for 3 sets, let's go and bump it up to 120. No, I'm going to bring it up to like 105, 110, depending on what options I have to, change the weight. And so just making sure that you're finding your good sweet spot, or your start, something that's really making you feel that stretch when you're lifting, but not utterly making it impossible for you to actually lift it. Because if you lift like something that's way too heavy for you, you're not going to get as much out of it as you would by getting a lot of reps in. And so what I like to do is, if I'm testing something out that I haven't used before, I might start a little like lighter, and then if I'm like, oh, okay, I feel like I can do more, I'll put on a little more until I'm like, okay, I feel like I've hit a spot where this is something I can do like 3 times or repetitively, but also provides a challenge and a good stretch for my body. And so like I said, I just rotate between legs, back, arm, chest. I just rotate that every week, and then the last 3 days I mainly just focus on resting. Really, I don't do anything else. Now, one thing I will say is that a lot of one person might ask, why don't you put in abs? And it would be nice to do abs. However, if you want to have kind of a lean like cut, or you want like a smaller gut, you have to think that you don't want to work your abs too much. Because if you work your abs, like if I'm working my bicep, for instance, my bicep is going to try and grow eventually. Once I hit a certain weight, or once I've broken it down and it's healed, my bicep is going to grow and my biceps are going to get larger. So if you want to lean, like a lean torso, why would you really want to work abs? Because what happens is then your abs are going to get, larger, and then the perception of what your waist will look like might also look a little bit larger. Now, that doesn't mean, again, you can totally work abs if you want. Personally, for me, I just focus on what I eat. Right now, I usually kind of switch between a couple things. In the morning, I have Greek yogurt with, sometimes it's peanut butter, sometimes it's honey, and then I put like granola in there, some sort of low sugar granola. So after that, for lunch, I usually just have like a ham and cheese sandwich with an apple. And throughout the day, I have like two snacks, or I guess three. I have trail mix. I have a little bit of this like almond butter biscuit bar that's from Nature Valley and is so good. That's like my sweet of the day. And then I have a banana. And then for dinner, it switches between chicken or eggs, and then a side of like rice or toast, and then green beans or mixed vegetables or some sort of green. And that's usually what I eat. And I don't keep track of calories. I don't keep track of how many fats or macros or whatever, because I'm not super scientific about it. But I do know that I'm at least putting something into my body that isn't pure sugar. And it's okay to have like a little treat like here and there, but don't go all out. Don't like crash out on it. Like, you want to make sure you're keeping your body consistent in what you put into it, and you don't want to have this this cycle of, oh, I worked out for 4 days, let me go eat this giant sugary meal, and then you lose all your progress for that week. It really is a climb, and it has to be a sort of a controlled climb where you're limiting your amount of sugar. I am guilty of this. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm very guilty of this, because the other day my parents brought home like a Philly cheesesteak and not in the same, but in a taco pizza, and I had a couple slices of that, and after I ate that, I felt like terrible personally. I didn't like it. Mainly, I also cut out sodas. I don't drink soda. I don't drink coffee. I don't do alcohol. I really mainly just stick to water. Sometimes I'll drink milk when I'm feeling a bit fancy. And I do eat cereal, but I only really do it maybe once or twice a week. Usually because cereal I only eat at night nowadays. And cereal, at least the kind that I have, can be really sugary at times. So making sure I keep my sugar low is, I guess, something that is important to me. Besides that, I would say just make sure you write your stuff down. I feel like it helps with just keeping track of your goals and what you want to achieve. And if you can, get a friend to do it. I do all my lifting for the most part, like 3 out of the 4 days, with a buddy of mine. And it makes the experience, I feel like, a lot better, because it's a way to keep both of you guys accountable for what you're doing, and it keeps you guys both on track, and it gives you a reason to come back so you can see your friend, because I only see this guy when I'm out lifting until school starts again. I might see him every once in a while or at work or something. One more thing that I want to mention to you guys is that muscle growth is quite slow. I've been lifting since June 2nd, so it's almost been a full 2 months. And it wasn't until maybe like last week that I've really noticed my muscles to grow. And so I just wanted to keep that in mind, that your gains are going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and it's just really, it comes down to just being a little bit patient. And you'll for sure end up seeing those rewards that you're trying to look for, those larger muscles or that, better body. So just, you got this. I believe in you guys. It is totally 100% gonna happen. Now, genetics might play a role in it, but I'm pretty sure either way, people are gonna experience some sort of muscle growth. But that's gonna be the end of this video. Hopefully you maybe took away something. Again, I'm not a super sciencey educated bro on this kind of subject, so I highly recommend looking up Renaissance Periodization. I'll have a link to their channel below. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, as I like to just talk about my daily life and whatnot, and usually some of the comments that you guys give become videos, such as this one. So thank you guys so much for checking me out and learning a little bit about my life and how I plan my lifting experiences, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.